Hello boys and girls, I'm going to show you how to code your wave. So what I'm going to do first is make sure that you take your wave and you move it down to where you want it to go. So now, once I have the wave, then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to give it its XY position. So that way it always kind of stays where I want it to stay. So then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say go to the back. So that way we can see the boat and all that. So here it says go to the front. So I'm going to change that to go to the back. And I'm going to be using a thing called Whirl. So this one says change color, but if you use the drop down menu, you have some different options. So I'm going to use the one called Whirl. Anytime I use any of these effects, I always want to add one of those at the beginning. So now I'm going to change the whirl. So if I click on it, you see that as I click on it, it goes up. And then if I want it to come back, I'm going to bring it out again. If I want it to go the opposite direction, then you use a negative number. So now we see it goes this way and then it goes this way. But as always, I don't want to just keep repeating these. But if you notice, if I just click them together like this, nothing happens. So that's when you need to add your weights in between. So now if I added my weights in between, now I always like doing a little bit less than a second so it's not quite so long. Okay, so now if I click this, you see that it keeps going. So, but I don't want to do like one big effect. I want to kind of change this up a bit. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say repeat this 10 times. So I'm going to click the flag so it starts back to normal. So that goes at 10. Wow, that's 25. That's a lot. So I don't need it to quite be that much. So I'm going to take it down to like 10. So let's clear it again. Oh, so that's better. So it doesn't quite go up so high. And then I'm going to have it do the same thing with the negative effect. And if I did 10 here, I want to make sure I do 10 here as well. So I'm going to say negative 10. So it goes up and then back. Now, because I want it to not always, I'm going to actually set the whirl effect to negative 10. So that way it doesn't come back to a straight line. So I'm going to come down here, instead of change, I'm going to say set the whirl effect, and I'm going to just do the negative 10. So that way it goes from negative 10 to 10 to negative 10, then back again. So then I'm going to put this inside of a forever loop. So now I'm going to clear the effects, hit the flag, and now I'm going to, okay, that looks really fast. So maybe I want to put in a weight in between each of these, so then it slows it down just a little bit. And then if I do one there, then I also need to do one here. Okay, so now we're kind of getting that whirl effect that we wanted when we did, to get that, looks like the ocean is moving. This is just one way to do the whirl effect. And then I could add it over here. There we go. So it looks a little choppy, so I may need to play with this a little bit more. Maybe I only want it to be 5 and a negative 5. So you could play with the numbers to get it kind of how you want it to look. Okay, so this is one way that you could do the whirl effect. I'm going to quickly just show you another way to do a different way to show waves. So I'm just going to get a new sprite to show you how to do this. And I'm going to do the paintbrush. So on this one, I'm just going to, and it doesn't matter, I'm just going to pick a color. So now I'm going to convert it to bitmap. And now I'm just going to come and I'm just going to draw a line. So I'm going to hide this one for right now so we don't see it. Okay, so now I'm going to do this one. So now I'm going to draw up, and I'm kind of doing this on purpose to go off. And you want to make sure you go all the way to the edge. And now I'm going to use the bucket and color it in. Okay, so now that I've done this, I'm going to show it back up over here. So now, and then you move it to where you want. Now, obviously this color is wrong, so I could once again change the color. Okay, so now the way that you could make the wave move on this one is you go into a forever loop. Once again, go to your starting position, have an event, and then on this forever, now one of the ways I decided to do this is you could say move 10 steps, which it goes this way, but then it looks like it comes off, right? But then you tell it to wait just like a half a second and move back a negative 10 steps. So then, and then put this in here, and then if you do this, make sure you add a wait here as well. So now when I do this, you see that it's going back and forth, but I think I put it in the wrong starting position. So I'm going to move it back to where I want it, and I'm going to hit stop. And now I'm going to write that again. I'm going to say -1, 5 and -4, 1. Okay, so now you see that it is moving, but also on this one, if you wanted to do, you also need to tell it to go to the back. So that way it is in the back instead of in front of all the other stuff. So these are two different ways that you can do it, move it. If you do it this way, the one way you do need to remember is that you make it go all the way to the edge. Okay, and so this is one way, this is another way. This one uses moves, this one uses whirls. Either one works effectively. Hope you have fun making your waves.